What's up, guys? Broskiigamers here, coming at you with a true Draco deck profile today. This is one of my personal favorite decks of all time, pretty much since it's been released. When it was released, I think we had just came back to the game. I'm not entirely sure, I can't remember, but I remember just seeing it out of, I believe it was Maximum Crisis, and I've liked the deck ever since. It's been hit a few times, but it's extremely playable, and I highly suggest this deck if you're entering the game, you haven't been playing in a while. You want to learn the basic mechanics, you want to like learn how to play against some of the best decks, but maybe you don't want to, have to play this heavy combo deck. Highly suggest this one, but I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. And even though these cards have been out for a little while, I'm gonna roughly explain kind of what they do. So obviously Triple Ignis, he's the best one in the deck that you can play 3 of. All the True Draco cards have the same like summoning condition, like you can tribute summon a spell or trap card to get them on the field. Obviously, or a monster too, but yeah. So Ignis, when your opponent activates a card effect, he can search one of the spell cards, one of the True Draco spell cards out of the deck, or you can activate it or add it straight to your hand. So he's incredible, because if you know anything about this deck, or if you're new to this deck, you're gonna find out why the spell cards are so powerful. Next monster we maximize on is Majesty Maiden. I see a lot of people play 2, but in this particular build, it's extremely important that you run 3 of them, because you want to get a tribute summon monster on the field like as soon as possible. Just like Ignis, like I said, with all the True Dracos, you can tribute summon her using a spell or trap card. But her effect is, when your opponent activates a card effect, you can search a True Draco monster out of your deck. So usually off of her, you will be searching for Knuckles, or Dynamite Knight, the Draco fighter. He's by far the best True Draco card monster in the deck, but he's at 1. It sucks, but if he comes to 3, you would bump him to 3 and like maybe her down to 1, because then she doesn't become as important. But right now, since you only have 1 of him, you really need to maximize like on her. When your opponent activates a card effect, he searches you with one of the trap cards, or you can activate the trap card straight from your deck. When we get to the trap cards, you will see why that is like such a broken effect. Even though it's broken, I do think he can come back to like 3 though, definitely. Next monsters, honorary True Draco cards. Pretty much in any stun deck, you're going to see Inspector Border. He just says no. Go in turn 1, because obviously you play this deck going first. I know typically we like to play go in second decks, but True Draco, you can go second, but you obviously don't want to do that. This card says no to monster effects, so you summon them. Like, your opponent can activate any of their regular monster effects, and then when they go into the extra deck, they get 1 of that certain thing per turn. So they aren't really doing much over it, and sitting on like a 2,000 body. It's just hard to it's hard for a normal summon monster to be able to get over that. This is the newest True Draco card / Monarch card. It's a pendulum, I know it's weird, but it came out of Lightning Overdrive. I've seen a lot of people play like multiple of these, but in testing, I was running into it far too often. And that's like a huge problem with this deck. So like, you place him in Skeleton, you can pop him to draw 1 card, so it's an upstart goblin. So, naturally you would think I need to run 3 of these. But he goes to your extra deck, you face up your extra deck, and if you control another cards in your extra deck, you can special summon him on the field. The only problem with that is, if you ever like run into duality, obviously, when you get to it, like you want to activate your pot of duality, but if you special summon this, can't activate it. If he's still sitting in your extra deck, a lot of your floodgates are immediately offline. So you don't want to like draw into him off of any of your draw cards. Just me personally, I don't think I'll run any more than 1. I have them in my side, and I will still continue to test, but for right now, just 1's fine, because it's essentially like an upstart goblin that you could use as a tribute summon monster to turn on some of your floodgates if you need to. Next, going to the spells. This is a true Draco Monarch build. They just have a lot of synergy. So with this card, when you have no cards in your extra deck and you're the only player that controls a tribute summon monster, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. That is by far the most important and pretty much the only thing you need to know about this card. So it turns off like a whole like game mechanic for them. So it's just really hard for them to they have to open up the spell and trap removal. They have to like actively already have like those like sideboard cards in their main board, or that's kind of like game one you already, you know. That's why this deck is so crazy, because you go first, you set up some of these floodgates. A lot of decks don't main deck like outs for these specific floodgates. Yeah, but that's pretty much all you need to know about that card. I mean, it's incredible. Dragonic Diagram. This card is broken. This is probably like the best field spell. Like, I think what was that? Trickstar Light Stage was pretty crazy. But Dragonic Diagram has to be one of the most broken filled spell cards printed. It search any archetypal card. So you, first off, all True Draco and True King monsters on the field gain 300 attack. They're already big as it is. So a lot of times you're sitting on like a monster with 2,700, 2,800, and, you know, sitting with floodgates, you know, things to protect it. So it already makes it big. Also, the first time each tribute summon True Draco or True King monster would be destroyed by battle each turn, it is not destroyed. That's a great effect, but it's not the broken one. Here comes a broken effect. Once per turn, you can destroy one other card you control or in your hand. And if you do, add one True Draco or True King card from your deck to your hand. So it literally searches anything in the archetype. Don't think this can come back to 3. They can release any other True Draco card off the list, even Masterpiece to 1. As long as they keep this like in check, it won't be too bad. That card is just insane. We technically run 2 of them. You definitely want to see it. I don't know. It's just that card's nuts. Next spell cards. True Draco Heritage. This card essentially is like a Pot of Greed. During your main phase, you can draw cards equal to the number of True Draco and True King card types, monster spell and trap sent from the field to the graveyard. So that's where your diagram comes in. Like usually you can set a back row, pop the back row, search a monster or whatever you need at the time. Activate your heritage. That's automatically a draw 1. Just think if you know, pop multiple or tribute summon over its spell, you know, pop something else with your diagram. I mean, you can easily get up to like a draw 3 with this card. Also, this gives you an additional tribute summon per turn. So, like I said, all the True Draco cards are pretty nuts. The spells are just insane. Disciples of the True Draco Phoenix. So, like I said, the spells give you an additional tribute summon. This one you can target 3 True Draco and True King cards in your graveyard, shuffle them back into the deck, and then draw 1. So it's crazy. And also, one thing I forgot to mention about the spell cards, when they're sent to the graveyard, you can pop back row with them. So equally nuts. Like these cards just have so many like things going for them. If you know how to navigate this deck, you can do very well with it. Next, Monarch cards. Pantheism of the Monarchs. This has been working pretty well for me. There are those random games where I don't draw a Monarch card with this, and yeah, that's like super shitty to have a Pantheism in your hand, like a crazy broken like draw card and not be able to use it. But basically, what this card does is send 1 Monarch spell or trap card from your hand to the graveyard, draw 2 cards. So it's Pot of Greed. It's Pot of Greed, basically. You can banish this card from your graveyard, reveal 3 Monarch spell or trap cards from your deck. Your opponent chooses 1 to add to your hand and shuffle the rest back into the deck. And you can only activate 1 of them per turn. But still, you want to maximize on these because it's just crazy. When it goes off, it goes off. And you can search any other you can search your field spell with it. You can search your floodgates with it. It's honestly just crazy. The last Monarch spell card we play is March of the Monarchs. Man, I've been heavily considering like bumping this up to 2. It's pretty good. So basically, tribute summon monsters you control. All your cards cannot be targeted by or destroyed by card effects. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. We don't care because we don't have an extra deck. So it's really good. Also, like worst case, you just pitch off Pantheism if you don't really need it, I guess. Now we get into some of the draw cards. 3 Pot of Duality. See, this is what I was talking about. You probably all know what Pot of Duality does. You reveal 3 off the top and then you choose 1. You can't special summon the turn you activate this. This is where the conflict comes up between this and the new Pendulum card. Because you have to special summon the Pendulum card to get it out of your extra deck for some of your floodgates to be live. But with Duality, you cannot special summon the turn you activate it. So if you pop the Pendulum, it goes to your extra deck, and then you go into Duality, your Duality's dead. So that sucks, and Duality literally just helps you dig into the deck for like all your floodgates, which are like essentially your win conditions. So, that's where the conflict comes from. 1 card in Demise. This card's nuts. I think it could come back to 3. Personally, it only helps like back row decks essentially. So it would definitely help stuff like True Draco, Sky Striker. They were playing it. I believe Guru was playing it, but it obviously it helps like a lot of road decks. I definitely see it. Could see it coming back. I think it can. I don't know if they will. Now the trap cards. Dynamite searches these. These are incredibly broken. If this card is sent from the spell or trap card zone to the graveyard, you can target 1 monster on the field, destroy it. You cannot activate the following effects of True Draco Apocalypse in the same chain. So, first effect, you can target 1 other True Draco or True King card you control, destroy it, and if you do, the attack and defense of all face-up monsters your opponent controls become half their current attack and defense, even if the card leaves the field. So, I mean, Battle Tricks, they declare attack, you half it, you got big-ass monsters on the field, they're just literally swinging into your big-ass monsters. Also, the second effect, during your opponent's main phase, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, tribute summon 1 True Draco or True King monster face-up. So, I mean, you can activate on your opponent's turn. You can just summon on your opponent's turn. So, it's crazy. If you could just do it at any time, that would be even more nuts. But during your main phase, I mean, it's already broken as it is. Last trap card I played, True King's Return. You can bump this to however many you want. I believe this is just preference for me. It's not as great as like I thought it was. I mean, it's cool because you still have another True King's card. It pops monsters still. But this one special summons out of your graveyard. We need our monster tribute summon, but it's still good removal. So I just play 1. I mean, you can run like I just would definitely play Apocalypse at 3. This one's just up to your preference. Maybe because I played it so long, like just at 1 is why I still prefer it. But I don't know. Test it out. Let me know what you think. Next cards. This is basically made for True Draco. It's also Monarchs. That being said, if you want to see a Monarch deck profile, let us know in the comments. But this one is a skill drain, a one-sided skill drain, because all of our monsters are going to be tribute summoned. So basically, activate this card only if you have no cards in the extra deck. This is another thing where that Pendulum card, the conflict comes up if you can't special summon it. That really hurts. But you have no cards in your extra deck, and control a tribute summon monster. Negate the effects of all face-up monsters on the field while the monsters are face-up on the field. Except tribute summon monsters. During your end phase, if you control a tribute summon monsters, send this card to the graveyard. So one-sided skill drain. All of our cards are still going off. Their cards on the field are dead. So essentially. Next 3. Solemn Judgment. This is a back row deck, so we immediately died to Harpy's Feather Duster. We died to Lightning Storm. Yeah, so we need the cards like this to just say no to it. We died at like cards like Red Reboot, like Twin Twisters can blow out a lot of us. Um, yeah, you definitely need to protect yourself. Maybe this isn't as essential, like going first, as I feel it is. I've just been playing Solemn Judgment and True Draco for so long. Like I've seen a lot of people like cut it or like side it. I'm gonna continue to main deck it. Um, like I said, that's my preference though. You could definitely do like Solemn Strikes. I don't do this in the main. I side it just depending on the matchup. But usually they're gonna side in cards to like go like to blow you out. So you need something to negate that. That's the only thing this deck really dies to. Not even like monsters being too big. This deck can get over that. Last card, one more Monarch card. The Prime Monarch. So this is pretty crazy if you open up this in Pantheism, because essentially it's all advantage, because this is actually like very fine with being in the graveyard. Once per turn, you can target 2 Monarch spell or trap cards in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, then draw 1 card. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 1 other Monarch spell or trap card from your graveyard, special summon this card in defense. So it gives you free monsters, but like to tribute over. You can only use this effect of the Prime Monarch once per turn. So yeah, this plus Pantheism is like it's actually a pot of greed. In a Monarch deck, I would definitely like bump this up. But like I said, if you want to see a Monarch deck, I will definitely put that up for you. But in True Dracos, I think 1 is like perfectly fine. I know a lot of people like main deck Monarch Stormforce, stuff like that. To me, that's for the side. You just wouldn't want to main deck that. But let me know what you think about this deck in the comments. Let me know what you would change. Like I said, if you're returning to the game, I know a lot of people are right now. This is a great deck to pick up. Easy deck to learn how to play, navigate. So share it with a friend that's like trying to get into the game. Like the video if you like the video. Like I said, leave a comment, consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.